Good morning, everybody. It's your girl Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration and juice. It is December the 19th, 2022, and today the topic is Just Joseph. Happy Monday, everyone. Happy Monday. I hope that you all had a great weekend. I was just fine. I mean, my weekend, not too much to report. I mean, Saturday was kind of chill. I feel like last Thursday, Friday, and Saturday felt very like more laid back and chill than I guess I had anticipated or planned for it to be. But to God be the glory for peace, right? For peace of mind and everything like that. Um, yeah, yeah. Y'all keep my husband in prayer and everything. I feel like the Lord is leading us and guiding us to make some how can I say some well, I think it goes hand in hand actually now that I sit here and think about it with this conversation about Joseph because I guess I'm just seeing not only how important it is to have a husband and the type of gentleman that you know um is going to is taking that role of husband seriously, and everything like that. But I think by taking the deep dive today into Joseph and his story or his part of the quote unquote Christmas story, um, I don't know. I guess it just seems to be very significant when I think about my husband as well. So that's just something random that just came into my heart and mind in this moment. But just keep us in prayer, keep him in prayer. As he continues to walk by faith and trust the Lord in different areas and everything like that. Because I believe that we've been receiving some confirmations of some different moves and things like that that we need to make and I say we, but maybe it's more so he, but still, you know what I mean? We are one, so that he may need to make it. I think that the Lord wants to do a work. And so, I just pray that he becomes more uh comfortable with the idea again of trusting the Lord, allowing the Lord to lead and guide all the steps and let's see what the Lord do. Let's see what the Lord do with the things that are being presented. So that's one thing. Yesterday was great as well. Um, Shout out to Mountain West, man. I do appreciate the fellowship that I receive at Mountain West. I appreciate the things that they do for the congregation, um, as well as the community. I see the things that they do in the community as well. Um, but even yesterday, like those of you all that follow me on social media, you may already know. But again, those of you all that don't, um, a quick sneak peek into yesterday was basically, when we got there, they had free rides on a little train. They had like a little train there at the church, for the kids and everything like that. And they call it the Hope Train and everything. It was like free rides on the Hope Train. And I'm like, man, that's amazing that, they go the extra mile to create experiences for families and children and, you know, the members and everything like that. So to me, this is no surprise that the ministry is growing and everything like that. And, to God be the glory. I'm glad to be a part in any aspect. And yeah, so shout out to Mountain West and everything like that. I mean, I know again, I appreciate them and their children's ministry that they have there. And shout out to Pastor Mo. I feel like his messages have been very, very timely for me to receive. And yeah, so man, to God be the glory for all things, for confirmation and all kinds of things that was going on this weekend. I mean, without going too deep, I definitely want to shout out again how blessed we are as a family. Specifically the little guy as well, because that's I don't know what it is about this little kid, but everybody just loves him and everybody just wants to give him stuff. Everybody, and it's the phenomenal thing to kind of just witness. And so yesterday we ended up just kind of spending some time with, I believe, a gentleman that my husband would consider to be a mentor, him and his wife and whatnot. And they just showering us with blessings and fellowship and, wisdom and everything like that. They say that they've been married for 50 years. So shout out to the Robinsons, shout out to them. That's an amazing accomplishment. I'm trying to convince them to get on GSL because, again, I've always admired, happy, thriving, long-lasting couples. And, I think people need to see that, right? They need to see those type of relationships, especially kingdom relationships, right? Which again coincides with this conversation today about Joseph. I guess the reason why I felt led to go ahead and focus on Joseph today is because the prayer meditation was talking about him. And I found that to be interesting because the pastor talked about him yesterday. And then I want to say earlier last week, if I'm not mistaken, it was Dana Ray, I guess that was on the show last Friday. Posted something about Joseph recently. And I'm like, this is the third thing I done heard about Joseph. I feel like it might be important for me to go deeper about Joseph today. And so I did, and I started to look up verses and whatnot centered around, again, Joseph and his part in the Christ story or the Christ mass story, and yeah, so that's what that's where the inspiration came from today. And so I guess it's time to jump into it. Y'all ready? All right, here we go. So one of the first verses that really stood out to me this morning is Matthew 1:19. It says, "Then Joseph, her husband, being a just man and not willing to make her a public example, was minded to put her away privily." So if you guys go deeper and read the entire account of what's going on here, basically, from my understanding, like, I know that people say that they were engaged. Some people say what I've been hearing is that they know they were actually married. It just was some type of period where they were still married and separated or something that they had going on in that particular time. I don't know. I haven't gone deeper and looked up like all of that part, right? But regardless, right, his betrothed, his wife to be, however you want to look at it, was found to be pregnant, right? And in those days, that was a stonable thing. And I know I just made up this word stonable, but that was something that, if I'm not mistaken, that she should have got or could have gotten killed for. Things like that. If I'm not mistaken, y'all can go and correct me if I'm wrong. But from what I'm understanding, that was a punishable offense and things like that. And so I feel like that verse, as I was writing it down this morning and reflecting on it, it just really shows the nature and character of Joseph, the type of man that he was, right? Because just imagine any man in these days finding out that their betrothed is with child, and then to hear that it's in such a miraculous way, sometimes unbelievable way. Obviously in these days and times with the people in their mindsets these days, like, I mean, would Jesus have even made it here? Who knows, but I do believe that, again, for Joseph to be the man to pick to be Jesus's earthly father, it speaks volumes of, again, him and his character and everything like that. So that's one thing that I guess I took a little time to reflect on and just appreciate about again, kingdom relationships, the type of relationships that God puts together, because it had to be Joseph, right? For Jesus to even have been born, right? And for Mary to be believed as well, and everything like that. So yeah, that's very interesting and significant to think about if you try to take the time to do so. Y'all can think deeper about that as well, but that's the first verse I came across, and those are some of the things that it made me think about. So then I ended up coming across Matthew 1:24, and it says, "Then Joseph, being raised from sleep, did as the angel of the Lord had bidden him, and took unto him his wife, and knew her not, till she had brought forth her firstborn son. And he called his name Jesus. So again, if you read the verses between the first verse that I just read to you all and this one, basically what happened is that as he was pondering on putting her away quietly, or maybe divorcing her quietly or something along those lines, the angel of the Lord came to him and revealed to him that, hey, it's okay to marry your wife, or it's okay to keep Mary, or whatever the case is, as your wife, because what is conceived is spiritual and not infidelity or anything along those lines, right? And um and then gave further instruction on like what to name the child, or things like that. Now I want to say the pastor yesterday was talking about the significance of Joseph naming Jesus, because he said something about like I think during those days it was like the wife's responsibility to name the child. And so it was significant, from what I'm understanding, what he shared with us yesterday, is that it was significant that Joseph named it, because then he also kind of took on some ownership in that aspect to name, and to be obedient to what the angel had said to name the child and everything like that. And so that, again, it was interesting to think about, that, okay, you receive this dream, you receive this word from the Lord. And again, when you are faced with these things, you can make, you're at a crossroad moment. Are you going to believe what you receive, or are you going to not believe what you receive? And we see what he did and everything like that. But again, it shows the nature and the character of this man, Joseph. Again, it had to be him, because, I didn't see anything in regards to doubt about what the angel said. I didn't see anything about like, and I'm pretty sure maybe there was maybe some wrestling, just knowing what humans do or how we are. It's like, if you receive a dream, like, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, sometimes I even question my own dreams and stuff, and be like, what does this mean, Lord? Or whatever the case is, if I don't fully understand. But yeah, he received the information from the Lord. And it seems to me, what I'm receiving is that, he didn't dilly-dally or delay. Like, he got on the job, he kept his wife, X, Y, and Z. Now let's get into these verses here. So Matthew 2:13-15. Now I'm going to just paraphrase these verses and whatnot, but y'all can go back and read them on your own and get the full context of every word that they say. But basically what's going on in that section is that he received the word from the Lord to go to Egypt. Okay. And basically, after receiving that word from the Lord, he went. He took both Mary and the child and went on to Egypt. He did it by night and departed to Egypt. Now, again, we know how significant that was, because, once Herod found out the wise men weren't going to come back and let him know what the child was and things like that, basically he went on a killing spree and killed all the babies in that region, or whatever the case is, to try to get to Jesus. And, obviously Jesus was spared because they weren't there. So, I'm gonna go deeper with some different things that were standing out to me. And that's in the go deeper section. So I try not to touch too much on that right now. But again, we see how important it was for Joseph to be obedient to the messages that he was receiving from the Lord. So yeah, just something to think about there. Something to think about there. Another section that I would like to paraphrase a little bit is Matthew 2:19-23. Basically what's going on here is it's saying, at some point, basically Joseph received the revelation that he could go back to Israel, because Herod was no longer alive and things like that. And so he went on and took Mary and Jesus back to the land of Israel. But because I guess he found out that Herod's son was reigning in Judea, basically he ended up going to Galilee and living in Nazareth instead, which to me, I wrote down, it to me, what really stood out is that it ultimately fulfilled prophecy regarding Jesus and regarding, everything that was said about this mysterious child and whatnot prior to all of this. Now, I know we've been talking about how obedient Joseph was, right? Now, I don't know if this was a quote unquote act of disobedience to not go exactly to Israel as he was told to go. Because I don't know, like, if this was still part of Israel, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not, privy to all the maps and da da da. I did try to look up some of the biblical maps to get an idea of what that looked like and everything like that. But regardless, right, of him not going exactly to Judea, because he was, it said, afraid, right, when he found out that Herod's son was there. But again, we see that God had already prepared the way for that, because it was said that the child was going to be a Nazarene. And so they ended up living in Nazareth, and that's how that prophecy was fulfilled. To me, even though I don't know if that is a quote unquote sign of disobedience, right, or not, because again, I don't know all the biblical maps and stuff like that, or if that's still considered to be Israel or not. I don't know about all that. But what I did receive this morning, when I think about this, is that Joseph took this seriously. That's what I received. I received that Joseph, when he, discharged to take care of his wife and take care of this child, a child that is not his, right? A child that, the whole idea of everything kind of probably shook his world to find that his betrothed is with child and all these different things. It wasn't what he expected life to be with his wife, I'm sure, and then even the time period between when he didn't quote unquote know his wife. We know biblically that means that they didn't have sex until after this child was born and everything like that. So who knows if there was resentment there or not? I don't know, y'all. I'm just saying, as humans, all these things are factors. So but for me, as I'm reading this, it's telling me that Joseph really took this seriously enough to be like, you know what? I know that I got a word from the Lord to tell me to go to Israel, X, Y, and Z, but I see that Herod's son is in Judea. And I don't want nothing to happen to my wife nor this child. So I'm going to take them to Nazareth. You know what I'm saying? Making that executive decision as a husband and man, is commendable to me, because just knowing that there might be a little potential of wrath, right, from the son of Herod, he took necessary precautions and whatnot, and ultimately, again, fulfilled prophecy, whether he knew it or not. So just very interesting, man. These are the things that were standing out to me this morning. And, that's what I was studying and going deeper about. Again, y'all can read all the verses verbatim for yourself and everything like that. But because I know I paraphrased a lot. But yeah, basically in the Go Deeper section today, I didn't necessarily feel led to write down verses for y'all, but I just kind of made a list of like things that I learned from Joseph as I studied this, and as I received all these messages about him, these 3 messages that I've received about him prior to this conversation that I'm having with y'all today. And so these are some things, and y'all can go deeper on your own, study them however you see fit. Take each thing and look up verses from words and verses to go deeper about it. However you guys see fit to go deeper and everything like that, by all means do so. I'm just going to share what really stood out to me as I studied Joseph this morning, and as I was listening to the things that I've received and the 3 messages that I received prior to this. So one thing that stood out to me is that Joseph heard from God. Joseph was a gentleman that obviously heard from the Lord multiple times. Now it talks about these dreams in particular. It talks about, interactions with the angel, things like that in these dreams. But regardless, he had the character and nature to receive information from the Lord. It calls him just in the beginning when we shared that verse. It said he's a just man, being a just man. Again, seeing how he was getting ready to handle before he knew anything about the, details and whatnot, just seeing how he was going to handle Mary it speaks volumes as well. Because again, he could have shamed her, he could have took her into, the streets and, pointed the finger, he could have allowed people to stone her, he could have did a lot of different things in that time. But because of his nature, right, because of his character, he was just, didn't want to make a public example or anything like that. He just was going to basically quietly divorce her, and things like that. And so, again, I guess you got what I'm receiving here is that we have to have the character to even receive information from the Lord. We got to have we got to, I guess, yeah, have that type of character to receive information. So that's the first thing that stood out to me this morning, that he heard from God multiple times. Now, not only did he hear from God, from what you see him doing, you can see that he trusted God. I know we've been talking about that. Like we talked about that all last week. I feel like trusting the Lord in different aspects and whatnot. I know the Lord had brought to me the word try, and the T meant trust, the R meant respect, and the Y meant yield. And you can see that he was a man that did all of those things. And so, yeah, trusting what he had heard, right? And in the trust, the next thing that stood out to me is that he obeyed God. Meaning that the things that the angel told him to do, he did them. And it seemed like he made haste and did it. There wasn't no dilly-dallying about it. It was like, hey, get your wife to Egypt. He woke up. It says, when I'm reading these accounts, it's like he got up and went and did it. And took his wife to Egypt. And the thing is, it's like, whether he know it or not, or knew it or not, that was a life saving decision, not only for his wife and the child of Jesus and everything like that, but also for us, and for him and for all of us, and so it just behooves us to obey the Lord. I know a friend of mine and I have been talking a little more over the weekend and whatnot, and she's receiving that same type of revelation and whatnot. And I'm like, hey, I'm here to tell you, sis, like the more I lean and depend on the Lord, the more I see the God moving and working in my life. We've been overflowed with blessings. Like I said, even just yesterday, just unexpected blessings coming our way. That's going to pour out into, our household, but then our extended family and whatnot as well. Like, to God be the glory for all things. And so it's just, again, that's what I'm receiving. That's another thing that stood out to me this morning. Another thing that I noticed about Joseph is that he waited on God. It don't seem like he moved again or made any type of moves until the angel of the Lord revealed to him to go and do the next move. So every now and then, I know that part might be pulp. Again, I've dealt with it in my own life. Y'all know about the cultivation period. If you don't know, then go get my book. I feel like I talk about it all the time, though, y'all. It was definitely a period of waiting, right? It was a period of having to trust the Lord with the things that he was showing me about, my life and my marriage and all these different things, showing me as a single woman. But to God be the glory for being on the other side now and seeing not only the desires of my heart come to fruition, but like more things beyond that, and like I said, I feel like I couldn't ask for a better husband. Like I know we got our things. I know, obviously we're humans, ups and downs, whatever the case is. But, honestly, he was the one that made sure I was up this morning to do the juice for y'all. Like all of that matters. Like all of that is significant. And, so it's something about these men, something about these men, like being in a position to do all these things that I'm sharing with y'all today. So those of us that, are wives, right? Or those women, right? If you want to be a wife, whatever the case is, let us, prepare for that, right? Let's prepare to, follow our husbands as they follow Christ, and everything like that, and encourage them, right? And things like that. And so, but anywho, that's a little side note there. But waiting on the Lord for more instructions. Very important thing that stood out to me. Now, the last thing that stood out to me about Joseph is, again, I touched on this earlier, but is that he took the word of God and his role and purpose in this situation. I could tell that he took it seriously. Um, and I say that, I mean, yes, we know again that lives were at stake. Yes, his wife's, the child's life was at stake. Maybe even his own, because I don't know how deep it was, but maybe if he didn't reveal something, maybe they would have killed him too. I don't know how things was ran in that time, but maybe, and then also again, but definitely his own when it comes to what Jesus did for all of us. So that's something as well. But I could tell again that he took his role and purpose seriously. I feel like that's been something that's been reiterated to me multiple times over the past week or so now as well, that we need to take our roles and positions seriously because lives are at stake. I see with the conversations that I have now with people, on these different platforms on GSL, yes, all of that too. But I'm saying even with the individual conversations that I have with other women and hopefully encouraging them, inspiring them, and helping them to reach whatever it is that God feels is the next step for them in their life. I feel like there's just so many significant conversations that I'm having these days that obviously if I hadn't had made choices back in the day and trusted the Lord with what he was telling me about me and my life and all these different things, that how would I be able to impact these women that I'm in conversation with right now? And so, and same for them. Like, I feel like it's not, again, God is no respecter of persons. Like, what he'll do for me, he'll do for you. And so again, if you're listening to the sound of my voice, you are significant. You have purpose and you have a circle of influence that is important, and lives are at stake, friends. And so I believe that we can learn a lot from Joseph today. I hope that you all have received something from this today. I know I have. Again, this is now the fourth time that I received something about Joseph. I felt like it was very important to share. And so that's ultimately the juice this morning. Y'all can go deeper again by studying these things on your own. Study the word obedience. Just look up that word and see what all comes up. Or study, hearing from God. Like maybe you're in that place where you want to hear from God more and, seek the Lord for that, whatever it is that's standing out to you this morning. I hope that you guys go deeper about it and look it up and see what the Lord has to say to you about those things. But yeah, like I said, y'all, that is the juice. Now, the Bible verse of today is Isaiah 9:2. It says, the people that walked in darkness have seen a great light. They that dwell in the lamp of the shadow of death, upon them hath the light shine. Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration and juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. And there you go, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, anybody listening to the sound of my voice. I hope that you all are encouraged and inspired today to hear about Joseph and everything like that. To God be the glory for, all things. Again, shout out to my husband for, making sure I was up this morning and stuff like that, because we did get home late last night because we can't go nowhere with this man. Just talk all night. And so, yeah, we got home very late. And the interesting thing is I woke up around 1:12, I think it was. And I made a note of it, like I usually do. But again, like I think listening to the prayer meditation around Joseph, I just felt like that was confirmation to talk about Joseph today. So that's what I'm more so focused on than the numbers. But yeah, by the time he came in and checked on me, it was well after 4. So, shout out to him. Shout out to him to, keeping your girl accountable out here. You know what I'm saying? You see, I'm right out of bushy tail now to be here, sitting here talking to y'all. So again, to God be the glory for all things. Can y'all remember, or can y'all believe that it's Christmas week? Like, what, Christmas will be next, Sunday? It's a lot. I mean, it's very interesting. Like, again, how time is flying. I know even just yesterday, Miss Betty. So shout out to Miss Betty. Hey, Miss Betty, if she does tune into this episode of The Juice, I know she tells me, I watch you sometimes. I watch it and everything like that. So shout out to all that are watching, and shout out to Miss Betty and whatnot. I know she just kept saying, like, man, it's just looking at NJ because he's 4 now and stuff. And he's like, I just remember when he was a little baby. And I'm like, I know. I'll be thinking about it all the time. Like, the kid is growing, but just time is flying. But yeah, man, we're almost at 2023, y'all. Speaking of that, y'all know we got to go. We got to go around here, man. We trying to get to 500 subscribers before 2023. I mean, no pressure, man. If y'all want to subscribe, fine. You know what I mean? I would love to see it, but at the same time, you know, I'm still gonna do the giveaway regardless of if we hit 500 or not. You know, y'all know I'm giving away romantic. I mean, I keep saying romantic, but I'm giving away bedroom rendezvous. I'm giving away this game called Bedroom Rendezvous. I think we might even be giving away a $25 gift card from Romantic Blessings as well. So I still haven't added it to the. I'm sorry, y'all. I still haven't added it to the giveaway website yet, but y'all can join the giveaway. There's plenty of ways to put your name in the hat. And get more entries by doing other things and stuff like that. I think last time I looked, we're at 316. So thank you to the 16 of y'all that subscribed and whatnot after this giveaway was, 16, something like that. It had to be something like that. Around the time when I announced this, I think we were at 300. So, you know, to God be the glory for every person that, you know, watches these things, gets something from these, the content that we create here at GSL. Like I said, there's much more to come. I do believe and receive that. Your girl's gonna be creating more content if the Lord's will in 2023. So be on the lookout, man. I'm excited about everything and excited about what the Lord is doing. Man, like just favor, man. I feel like there's just so much favor over you know, my life and in our life in general. I know I got reached out to my homegirl. Look, Madam Miraculous is gonna be busy tomorrow if the Lord's will, from what I'm receiving, because I got a call from Big Thinkers and they want me to do 6 shows tomorrow, y'all. Like, my goodness, man. Well, first of all, to God be the glory. You know, everything helps in this season, you know. But yeah, that's something that, again, unexpected blessing, you know, that just came through over the weekend and whatnot. So yeah, I'm trying to figure that out because that means I need to be in, I think, Beaufort, Georgia. I can't remember. I don't know. I gotta look at the address, whatever. But I gotta be somewhere up there at 8. So I'm trying to figure out how that's gonna work with the juice because it's 6 something now. I try to have this out by 6. So we'll see. I don't know. But that was another thing too, because I was going back and forth about how, you know, what type of break I was gonna do for the holidays. But I don't know, man. I just really enjoy doing this. And so we'll see. I mean, I might not wake up on Christmas Eve or Christmas to do this. But I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, well, Christmas is Sunday, so obviously probably not Sunday. But maybe on Christmas Eve, I might wake up on Christmas Eve and do this. We'll see. I don't know. Same thing about the talk show as well. Like I was trying to debate, should we just kind of not do episodes? But I'm like, well, it's not Christmas Eve. Friday is not Christmas Eve. It's the day before Christmas Eve. So technically we could put out a show. And same for New Year's Eve and stuff as well. It's like, it's not the actual celebration day. So we might still have shows come out. I don't know. These are all things I'm thinking about, y'all. But you know, just be on the lookout. Content's coming and whatnot, regardless. So, but yeah, that's what's going on. Those are updates and announcements and things. Yeah, but I look forward to talking to y'all tomorrow. Lord's will. Shout out to the person that's watching live. I don't know. Is this my mama again? I don't know. But no pressure to say hello if you don't want to. But thank you for listening, watching, subscribing, sharing. All the people that have popped in and tuned in this morning, thank you so much. Again, y'all can check out the links, check out all these things. The Go Deeper section, all this stuff. I hope that you all study for yourself to show yourself approved. And yeah, man, y'all have a great day. And I look forward to talking to y'all tomorrow with the Lord's will. Bye-bye.